Welcome back to Cannabis with Tiff. I'm so happy you're here. If you missed our last episode about the vegetative stage, establishing strong roots, nodes, and canopy, be sure to go back and listen. But today, we're diving deep into the flower stage, the one you've probably been eagerly waiting for. In this episode, we'll talk about what flipping the switch really means when you're growing indoors, how outdoor plants naturally enter flower, how to spot the very first signs of budding, and of course, the famous stretch phase and how to manage it effectively. We're also going to walk you through a strategic defoliation and pruning schedule, give you tips for supporting heavy colas, and explain how to fine-tune your growing environment. I'll teach you how to recognize what your plants are telling you, and we'll go week by week through the full flowering cycle, explaining exactly what to look for and what to do. We'll even cover hermaphroditism. Finally, I'll share how to know when it's time to harvest. For those of you growing outdoors, I've got extra guidance on staking, pest defense, and caring for your plants as the season changes. So prepare to take notes, because we're flipping the switch to flower. First, let's talk about flipping the light cycle indoors. When you decide your plants are ready to flower, you change your light cycle from something like 18 hours on and 6 hours off to exactly 12 hours of light followed by 12 hours of complete darkness. This mimics the natural shortening of days in autumn and sends your plants a clear message. Stop growing foliage and start producing buds. But listen carefully. Even the tiniest light leak during the dark cycle can confuse your plants. It can cause stress or even trigger hermaphroditism, which is when a plant starts growing both male and female parts. This can ruin an entire crop's potency and yield. Outdoors, flowering happens naturally. As the sun's daylight hours shorten in late July into early August, depending on your geography, your outdoor cannabis naturally senses the change in season and begins flowering. To support that transition, it's a good idea to give your plants a final transplant into larger containers or directly into well-amended soil. This ensures they have ample root space to support bigger buds later in the season. Also, focus on maximizing sunlight exposure. Plants that receive full sun all day produce hardier buds. So what are the first signs of flowering? About a week into the new light routine, or when nature signals outdoors, you'll begin to notice tiny white hairs emerging at the nodes. This is where the branches meet the main stem. The small bud sites may start to swell, and occasionally some strains even begin expressing a stronger aroma at this early stage. Those are unmistakable signs that your plants have entered flower mode. Now let's talk about the stretch phase. This period can be exhilarating and nerve-wracking. During weeks 1 to 3 of flowering, cannabis plants often double, sometimes even triple in height. If you're growing indoors, this is the time to manage that vertical explosion. Techniques like low-stress training or scrog, which involves weaving branches through a horizontal screen, can help keep the canopy flat and even. This not only keeps your plants at a manageable height, but also maximizes light exposure across all bud sites, which boosts your final yield. For outdoor growers, topping, tying down, or even planting deep are great ways to control growth before colas get out of hand. Defoliation and pruning are your friends when done strategically. Before flipping the light cycle indoors, it's a good idea to lollipop your plant. This is when you remove large fan leaves and low-stress branches that won't get light anyways. In the first 2 weeks of flower, do a light trim by removing leaves that block bud sites or restrict airflow. And around weeks 3 and 4 after the stretch has ended, take off anywhere from 15 to 25% of the foliage. This helps light reach deeper into the canopy and improves airflow. It's important not to overdo it. Overpruning can stress the plant. After week 5, stick to light trims only as needed, and by week 7, stop pruning altogether. Those leaves are stores of nutrients and energy that support resin production in the final weeks. Supporting heavy colas is essential indoors and out. As your flowers develop and become dense, they can weigh branches down, sometimes bending or even snapping them. Setting up trellis nets, bamboo stakes, or soft plant ties at the time of your flip gives your plants support before it's too late. This keeps branches uptight, promotes an even canopy, and can prevent mold caused by drooping branches. Maintaining a healthy environment during flowering is critical. Ideal daytime temperatures for your grow space are between 65 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit, with humidity held at 40 to 50% to prevent bud rot. Gentle airflow with fans help prevent stagnant pockets of humid air, which are breeding grounds for mold. Inside, keep your lights 12 to 18 inches above the canopy to prevent burning but still deliver enough intensity. When it comes to nutrients, switch to a bloom formula that is higher in phosphorus and potassium and lower in nitrogen. For example, a feeding ratio around 2:8:4. Let's move into a detailed week-by-week flower timeline. During the first 2 weeks, expect rapid vertical growth or stretch. The good news is that pistils should already be present, and it's the perfect time to begin your bloom nutrient regimen and continue light defoliation to open the canopy. During weeks 3 and 4, you'll typically see budlets forming, and their aroma may begin to intensify. This is when you should perform your major defoliation indoors, and for outdoor growers, a moderate trim is useful for airflow and sunlight penetration. Install any support systems now if you haven't already. Around weeks 5 and 6, your plants will ramp up bud development. The flowers will fatten, resin will coat your colas, and that lovely cannabis scent will hit full stride. Indoor growers should maintain humidity below 45% and perform light trimming only. Outdoor growers need to keep an eye out for pests and mold, especially in dense foliage. Clean up leaf litter and ensure plenty of ventilation through the canopy. Now before we dive into trichomes and ripening and all that good stuff, I've got to take a second to talk to my outdoor growers, because there's something that has wrecked my flower season more than once. Y'all, it's caterpillars. Yes, the too cute looks like they can do no wrong kind. But trust me, they do wrong. So much wrong. Seriously, these little green nightmares love fattening buds as much as we do, and they will chew right into the middle of your flowers, poop in them, and leave behind moldy, hollow colas. And the worst part is, sometimes you don't even know they're there until you touch the bud and it's just falling apart from the inside. It's heartbreaking. They show up during late summer and early fall, which is prime flower season, and they're stealthy. If you see random top buds dying off, sugar leaves yellowing for no clear reason, or tiny little black dots, that's their poop. You need to do an inspection right away. Get in there and look under the leaves and inside the colas. I've literally pulled them out by hand before. They love burrowing in deep. So how do you stop them? First step, BT spray. That's Bacillus thuringiensis, aka BT. It's organic, it's caterpillar specific, and it's safe to use. Just stop spraying around week 5 or 6 to avoid any residue. I recommend applying it weekly, starting a few weeks before flower, and always spray at dusk to avoid leaf burn. You can also use beneficial insects like green lacewings or parasitic wasps if you're all natural. And here's something not enough people talk about: bat houses. Bats are natural predators of moths, and moths are what lay the eggs that turn into those dreaded caterpillars. Installing bat houses on your property is a fantastic early intervention method. The earlier you reduce the moth population, the fewer eggs get laid on your plants. It's one of the best passive defenses you can set up before flower even starts. And even if you're using BT or beneficial bugs, you've got to inspect those buds regularly. I know it's tedious, but trust me, nothing ruins a harvest like finding out half your crop turned to mush from a caterpillar infestation. So stay on guard, especially outdoors. If something looks suspicious, don't wait, check it. Alright, by weeks 7 through 9, the buds enter their final ripening phase. This is when you stop all pruning and allow the plant to focus on resin production. Use a jeweler's loupe to assess trichome color. A cloudy or milky trichome indicates peak potency, and a touch of amber signals a more relaxing sedative effect. At this stage, you'll also reduce or eliminate nutrient feeding. This is referred to as flushing, and this is in preparation for harvest. Harvest timing is an art. I recommend harvesting in the early morning. Use a loupe or microscope to check that around 50 to 70% of the trichomes have turned cloudy, and that 10 to 30% have amber coloration. Also, monitor pistils. When around 70 to 90% of pistils have darkened, it's a solid sign your crop is ready to be harvested. Outdoor growers, you have a few extra considerations. Weather threats like wind, cold snaps, or rain become more significant as you move into late flower. Use stakes or cages to fortify branches against storm damage, and watch for pests and mildew, especially after damp weather. Prune any excess foliage that traps moisture. Adjust for heat waves, perhaps adding shade cloth if daytime temps spike. As harvest nears, creating airflow and allowing sunlight to deepen phenotypes will improve resin production and flavor. Flowering is where patience meets payoff. Indoors, commit to a strict 12-12 light schedule, proactive training and defoliation, environmental control, and vigilant monitoring for pests or hermes. Outdoor, follow nature's lead. Lightly prune to promote airflow, support plants against weather, and watch for environmental pressures. When your trichomes glow cloudy and your pistils darken, that's your cue to harvest. Your hard work has paid off. Next time, we'll walk you through flushing, harvesting techniques, drying, and curing for maximum flavor and potency. Thank you so much for growing with me today. If this episode helped you feel more confident in your flower phase, please share it with a friend or leave a review. I'd love to see your grow room photos or outdoor setups. Tag me or DM me on Instagram at Cannabis.podcast. Until next time, stay curious and stay consistent.